This is Trinont, and this is Path of Exile Necropolis, and here is Papercut Trin. So, last we left off, we talked about build guides, and did some tier 4 maps, and we have all but one tier 4 map done, I believe. Yes, the fields. We have a lot of tier 5 maps lined up. I think if I have a courtyard, which I do, I'm going to try to do the tier 5s and then go down actually to get the fields, and then we'll try to grind fields as needed. Anyways, there are two things I want to do today first. One is we have a heist quest, so we're going to do that and showcase the Rogue Harbor. Let me just make sure my auras are where I want them to be. Yeah, pretty much. Wait, do I not have precision leveled up? Oh wait, that's right, I don't, because I don't need it yet. And then the other is doing a little delve since we're capped on sulfite. Let's do the Rogue Harbor first. Now this is going to be our first attempt at a heist at level appropriate.
You want to work with me?
So this might be a little bit tricky.
What do you need?
So whenever I stream Delve and do sessions of it, I tend to actually not play the game's soundtrack, because you only have a few tracks going on at a time. And that's not that great. Are you? No, you just have Soul Eater. Okay, that explains it. You only have the infiltrating heist music, the escape music, and the Rogue Harbor town music. So it gets really repetitive. And that's the downside of a lot of the sub areas in PoE. If you're playing with the soundtrack on, you generally don't have a great you kind of have repetitive music, like the music doesn't have different loops and stuff as much. Just slightly frustrating. So the other thing about Heist is I like having the minimap like in the center. Normally I keep it in the corner, out of respect for the stream, and I just generally like the aesthetic of not having the minimap in the center of the screen. Heist layout is always revealed, the minimap's always revealed, and it's important to get out as fast as possible when you get the loot. So I tend to actually have the minimap in the center so I can see how to get out faster. Alright. And Heist doesn't really have... I mean, the gimmick's pretty straightforward. You open up chests to keep the alert level just high enough so you don't set off the alarm. So you can set off the alarm early. It won't necessarily end the heist immediately. It starts a countdown in which you have a amount of time to get to the end. We won't do that though, just because I want to comfortably get to the end. Hold the line. The big problem with Heist is the enemies like to hide behind the doors.
Beautiful design. Soon after
And the reason that's a little bit of a hassle
Are you supposed to defend your engineer?
is
Is on the verge
they
of
can all
change.
hit you at once, and the game's definitely designed where if you get swarmed by enemies, you take significantly more damage. It's not like fodder enemies take their turns trying to hit you. No, if you surround yourself with enemies, you will get hit the entire time. Find yourself shotgun quite quickly. Alright. So what I like to do is have a decoy of some sort, like the
Craftsmanship.
totem here. Alright.
Get them away from me.
That should blow up these.
Concern it. A fight's on.
Concern it, a fight's on.
No time to waste.
Alright, let's depart.
Here comes a beating. Thrilling.
Do I not have... Yeah, I have Sniper's Mark going. Or Poacher's Mark, I think. Alright. Oh, nope. This way.
Plan, execute.
And Isla leveled up in her job.
Of logic.
Another thing about Heist
My invent.
is not only do you get rogue markers... Oh, we got an incubator. We can talk about this too. Heist characters have gear and levels and different jobs they have. So we did a trap disarmament mission, and Isla leveled up in that, so we can actually give her... she's only level 1 in engineering, but we could give her, because she's level 2 in any job, this sharpening stone. You can see all the other characters have different jobs too. We're probably not going to grind out Heist today, but we could. And we'll incubate an item. So incubators basically tell you to like give a reward after you kill a certain amount of monsters. After, in this case, after we kill 5,646 monsters, we'll get a blight item. Blight items being like those oils that you saw during the Cassia Tower Defense event missions. Now we could try some more heists and level up our characters, and that might not be a bad idea. But I kind of wanted to just do Isla's quest first. Let's do Delve now, because we are capped on Sulfite. Sulfite is just how much fuel you need, or how much fuel you have to travel between nodes, and how far you can go in the Delve, essentially. Like this costs 29 Sulfite, and the deeper you go, the more Sulfite it costs. The same distance now costs 41. And we're going to scroll down to level 68 areas, maybe. Try to get Azurite. We'll go over here. We have 2 flares and a dynamite from that one delve we did way early on. Now this is the equivalent of a tier 1 map. Now delve monsters and heist monsters tend to be tougher than their map equivalent counterparts. I think that's by design. The game generally tries to make the league content harder than the main game. So all the optional areas are generally harder, I find. I think there's chaos damage enemies here. I gotta watch out. Nah, it looks like it's just physical damage enemies. There's a humming stone with purple golems, and they do chaos damage, and they hurt. This enemy is chaos and wither resistant. And because we're so deep in Delve and we haven't upgraded our life flask, being told to upgrade it. Oh yeah, I need to change my filter to trend playthrough. There we go. Get some items like this 2-stone ring. That isn't good. Keep going. The deeper you go in Delve, the lower your darkness res and your light radius is of your cart. The darkness res matters because if you go into the dark areas, you take damage over time that increases. So like increasing damage over time, to the point where if you're out of it, into it, even for like a few seconds, you will basically lose all your health. And it doesn't do like a certain damage type that you can, like you can build darkness res, but in general, darkness is its own damage type. It's a secret 6th damage type. How about that? We'll take some Titan Greaves. Don't need a Regicide Mask. But what we're really trying to do is get over here and get some Azurite to upgrade our cart. I was thinking about this build. I'm noticing my damage is really hard to keep up. I'm not sure if I really want to stick with one-handed weapons. Like, block is nice, but like essentially the benefit I get from one-handed is blocking and defense. If I can make up for that, the defensive layers from my shield, namely the resistances I get, and the life, I think more damage might actually be better in this case. And I notice everybody's using two-handed axes and the build similar to mine. So that is a definite argument for going two-handed if everybody else is doing it. The other thing is this build's innately tanky, theoretically. And block I would need to specialize in maybe a little bit more to really get the real damage values, to really get the real value out of it. Mind you, I am taking like, essentially the block chance here is 22%, so I am taking like a fifth of the damage I normally would. That's nothing to scoff at. Alright, let's take a look here. 65% increased fizz. Nothing else. A lot of resistances on this, no move speed, and no suffix for it. Okay. Well, now we got some Azurite, the blue juice, which we need to upgrade sulfite capacity for 1. Light radius. Craft our flares and dynamite. Upgrade our light resistance a little bit more. And I like having the light radius higher. Now, admittedly, a lot of people doing real delve don't upgrade any of these radius or resistance stats because it just the cost to upgrade it outweighs the expenditure of Azurite, because you can spend Azurite on resonators. Nico actually sells resonators for Azurite, which you can trade with other players for the money. But we're not there, so we're doing SSF, and I like being comfy to a certain extent in early delve, and it's not too expensive early on. Alright, why don't we try another... Let me just check here. Let's try a Azurite Fisher, if we can. Azurite Fishers are kind of neat. Alright, I already have Mark on hit. I forgot that I didn't need to curse enemies with Poacher's Mark. You know, I probably should get Ancestral War Chief over Ancestral Protector, it occurs to me. Because that has AoE, which is actually very important for Maim. And hitting enemies with my damage over time, damage dealt. There's two types of burrows. One has burrows of Devourers, the other has burrows of, do I need this? No. Burrows of, Drop Bears. The Plummeting Ursas. And again, Delve is another area that suffers from same music syndrome. Generally, I recommend turning on your own soundtrack or maybe even a video like mine in the background. Another Humming Stone. This is the Chaos Damage one, I think. It's just Fizz damage again. Get what biome? I think Abyssal Depths has the Humming Stone biome with the Chaos Damage monsters. The biomes have all different sorts of encounters in them, themed to the different biomes, like... And some of them even have juicy rewards, like, fossils exclusive to the biome they're in. Later on, you want to look for certain types of biomes for certain types of fossil rewards, but you want to wait till a later delve for that, because the odds of them popping up early on is lower than if you go deeper in delve. Okay, up we go. Let's not stand in that. And we're not taking too much delve damage, darkness damage right now, because I did upgrade my darkness res a little bit. Azurite encounters are some of the most common encounters in the delve. They just give you more blue shards, the Azurite. They're pretty important for upgrading delve, which is why they're so frequent. They come in 3 tiers. First tier just has a wave of enemies, followed by the Azurite, living Azurite. There's always like 3 living Azurite, and you kill all 3. One of them is usually rare. Then you get some Azurite as a reward. Isn't that great? Go up again. Tier 2 Azurite has 2 waves, and then Azurite Tier 3 has a wave as living Azurite, second wave living Azurite, and then a third wave. Which we'll see what that leads to, because we're about to do a Tier 3 Azurite area. Just clear out the enemies a little bit first, and here we go. One thing you gotta watch out for in Delve is those little wisps on the ground are Wettas about to explode, the unstable Wettas. Wettas, of course, because this is a New Zealand-based game and they like throwing in their little bugs. Yeah, I do like that Grinding Gear is willing to put some New Zealand flavor into their game and not just make it pure medieval fantasy. I like PoE's setting, actually. I think it's deviant enough from the normal medieval heaven and hell enemies. I hope PoE 2 keeps that up. So here's the second wave, full of living Azurite. And eventually we'll come across a third wave, and you can tell it's the third wave because, yep, there's this one's the Gorgul Terror. It's a dragon. Which is funny, in a GDC presentation they say they would never add dragons to the game, yet here's the Gorgul Terror. It's blatantly some type of draconic entity. I guess technically it's a winged lion, but still. And there we go. There's two other mini-bosses that Tier 3 Azurite nodes can have. The Azurite Fishers, is that the node we're talking about? Fisher, yeah. But this is not one of them. Alright, so... now we can upgrade our Delve a little bit more. Upgrade the Sulfite, upgrade that, upgrade that. I like having the light radius pretty high, but we'll upgrade this Sulfite and players, I think. And that's all we can upgrade there. We could do a little bit more Delve if we're feeling spicy. It's not the worst idea. Excuse the creaky chair. We do have maps to do though, so let's just expedite this process. And I do not know why I picked up that bow. I don't think these rares are particularly good to keep. I think it's safe to head to mapping. So we're at Tier 5 maps. I think I'm going to swap to Ancestral War Chief over Ancestral Protector, because Ancestral Protector only hits one enemy at a time. War Chief doesn't have that issue. And they both give a buff that doesn't matter to me because I don't do melee. But it is a free totem for MAME, so I'm okay with it sitting around. And we'll keep Protector around unless I want to level it. I don't know. Insta-bleed is never going to get used.
Bye.
Turning projectiles absolutely is. There is a strong argument.
It'll be time for that soon enough.
Going two-handed sword, like I was saying before. I think the other thing we should do is maybe do some Necropolis crafting. I don't think I have enough. Enough corpses to make what I want, though. Alright. Let me see how big the morgue is going. 39 corpses. Yeah, we're fine. I think I'm going to wait till I get at least 2 more quality to go 30% quality weapon or something, and then we'll make a weapon of some sort. But the problem with Necropolis crafting is it tends to get the crafts you want, you need more corpses than you Can hold with the morgue to really get the best crafts. In fact, the plots in Necropolis have more spaces than the morgue has, so you generally are storing corpses in your inventory. It's didn't really come off as a really balanced system, did it? So I do believe I had stuff here that could be crafted on. Lightning and chaos. A lot of lightning here. This is cold, all LE, open. We could do chaos here with the craft. That might actually benefit me. And that gives me more life. Let's see, do we have the chaos crafts? We have lightning chaos. It would, our cold res would dip though, which we have plenty of, so it's fine. Yeah. 13. Not the greatest chaos roll, but I do believe we got more life now. Lost some accuracy, but it's fine. I think graduating to a higher tier ring is fine by me. And our defenses are still pretty damn high. Maybe too high. Actually, yeah, we might be able to go to two-handed sword region now. Just because, it does seem I'm at the point where my shield is giving resistances, sure, but it's not enough. Like, I'm overcapped anyways, so it's not helping as much as it could be. As much as a two-handed sword could be for damage. So maybe it's two-handed sword crafting time eventually, which essences can really help with. We don't have any good essences for that though, so we'll have to wait. Alright, maps. We're on tier 5 now. And we have some rare tools here. This is introduction, so that's going to be tankier monsters, but should be fine. There's no damage mods or anything making that map harder. It'll just be a slower walk. Oh, Brine King. Actually, I don't think we're going to be stunned that much. Nassar, Lion of the Seas. I think that's a reef map. It's tier 10 probably. Or is it tier 8? Yeah, okay. So we're not going to get an upgrade that I desperately want until later. There is a strong argument for me getting Arctic armor right now. Instead of, probably Vitality. There's a strong argument to put one green socket here. Become immune to freeze. But we shan't. We'll just keep going as is. Alright. This is fine. I'm just going to put that there, though I don't want an acceleration shrine on the Wild Rexes. Yeah, that's fine. All flame members. You know what? Chalupa sounds fun to me. Chula. I just joked that they're called Chalupa. We'll do maybe Zoff as well. Replace these with breach monsters. And do you want to do soul fight on death enemies? Well, sure, why not? Use the all flame members while we got them. In fact, there's a strong argument to get rid of that level 16 one that I never used. Problem with Chula is Chula does chaos damage. That's a lot of damage to deal with. Alright, let me just make sure I always attack that moving zone for our friend. All of us here. I don't really need all the, but we can do it. So one thing breach enemies drop is breach rings. They're generally not useful because they're corrupted and you can't modify them really easily. However, if you collect 60 breach rings and turn them in, you get a nifty thing called a grasping mail, which is a chest armor made of breach rings thematically that has special mods on it that can be really good.
There you are. Ready to read.
Sure, let's do this. Chances of me doing this properly is low, but you never know. Let's link it to the cloister. Oh, we can link it to the Tempest generator too. If I'm lucky. Yeah, that was actually a pretty sweet clear. Normally I'm not fast enough to kill these monsters, but no, we're good.
Good job, Exile.
This is an incursion, if you remember. Thing where you have to build our dungeon.
I bet Esther's onto
And if we can link it to the apex of Otsawaddle, we can do Temple of Otsawaddle run as well. That could be fun. Get our Golem buddy back up. Alva appears again. And we'll put a portal down just because it's a little bit finicky. Healing in case we die in Alva's incursion. Get our...
Hello, Exile.
Alright, Temple Jeweler's Workshop.
Ready to revisit the past?
We'll upgrade that. It doesn't matter. Getting Stones of Passage here, so we just can rush to the mini-boss. Just the Architect. There's two dueling Architects. We're actually not killing the Jeweler Architect, we're killing the Jeweler's Architect's nemesis. And so the other one can build what they want. It's very strange logic, but here we are. Incursion's actually a pretty involved process, isn't it? Alright. Let's see if we can kill any more enemies. You have life regen? You have Consecrated Ground and life regen. You're not dying anytime soon. Yeah.
As Carpa's rival is
I think we need life regen mitigation if we're not going to do enough damage to outpower it. There are ways to do that. It feels bad to have to resort to it, but it's doable. There's a skill point in the skill tree that lets you do it, and there's also a skill we can employ called Frost Bomb that basically does it for us. Sometimes there's just enemies that are recover their health, regenerate it in ways that are very hard to mitigate, or very hard to outdamage if you're not powerful enough for it. More breach rings. And a layer map, which is tier 2. I think the boss is over there. I think the atoll's not done yet either. Here we go. Yeah, I think my damage just needs to go up, and I think I have to resort to eschewing my shield for just more damage nodes. Or a thick two-hander. So I'll have to keep an eye out for the top tier of swords for that. Hopefully my filter is showing them. Exquisite. I think we're looking for Ezomite sword or Val blade. I guess we'll find out. Anyways, the boss here is Peruna the Challenger. Peruna likes to slam the ground with a Frost Nova. And generally is a cold themed character. It's best to stay away from that Frost Nova. It hurts. Ezomite Axe. Alright, so we were going for Jun, I believe. So we'll get some more Betrayal mission chance. I do think I'm going to need to upgrade my gear, and it's going to be really more imperative as the maps go on and monsters get tankier and tankier. Because I feel like if we were doing like a tier 1 or 2 map, we could handle some of this better.
Ready to revisit the past?
Poison Garden. Yes.
Let's go.
Alright.
My spirit is spent.
Where are the monsters? There we go. Let's not stand in those. That would kill us. Let's link this to the cellar real quick. And because we have an increased cooldown rate, or reduced cooldown rate, Frostblink is not popping up as much as it should.
Sounds like Takati's plants are growing out of control.
And one more incursion. Oh no, we did all the incursions. Okay. And this map's done. Yay, Atoll is finished. And we did that Legion encounter, meaning we can use these incubators. How fun. And we got some breach rings. Their big thing is that their properties are doubled in a breach, which is really irrelevant most of the time, because that would mean you'd have to run breach maps specifically to benefit from it, which we don't. We'll just put these up. Under those. And now we have some more maps to run. Let's do Burial Chambers. Burial Chambers is actually a pretty rough map. For reasons we'll soon see. I actually might get Frostbomb for this.
Godslayer.
Where Where's Frostbomb? Looks like this, right? Yeah. Reduce life regeneration rate, 75%. That's gonna be pretty important. And then we need to fit a spot for it. I want to say... What are we really not using? I'm using all of these. We're not using precision just yet. So maybe... Blood Rage there. And put on 1 blue and 2 red. There we go. Let's link it. Now we can do Mark on Hit and Frostbomb as needed. Frostbomb will be F, or Frost. Precision can relax for a little bit. Double checking my auras are all ready to go. Yep. And that little thing will help us against life regeneration enemies until I get Mark Mastery. Trying to figure out where my nodes are going right now. Oh yeah, I was heading towards Constitution. I feel like getting more damage is actually going to be very important soon. Honestly, Aggressive Bastion is not a bad node. And then there's this whole shield area down here. Doesn't really benefit it. Retaliation and Testudo. Not Testudo, Testudo. Not sure where that word's from. Testudo doesn't really matter. Like, these aren't damage nodes, is the big thing. What we want is marks, really. I know there's a mark node somewhere. It's all the way up here. Expert Hunter. Because marked enemies cannot regenerate life as a master you can take. Wait, here's a mark. Grant flash charges and Cooling Strike against marked enemy. That's actually not bad. But it is demanding of points. There is an argument to refund these 3 passives. Go for Aggressive Bastion early. I mean, getting life is nice, but... Come to think of it, you actually could get Strong Arm as well. Let's see. 25, 16, 12 versus 12, 10, 12, 14, 30, 12, 16, 25. I want to say mathematically this wins out. Well, heck with it. I noticed my damage is falling off more than anything. Give me another one of them block rockin' beats. I'm not sure I get the reference, but nevertheless. Alright, this is the damage, I think. Should be noted this is a live stream for VOD watchers. But trying to make it commentary oriented nonetheless. Chemical Brothers. I don't recall that band, but okay. This works. Accompanied by a map boss. That's a little scary, but doable. Alright, Burial Chambers. And hopefully our damage is going to go up a little bit. Ah, here's the map boss. They were talking about Miller Thornmail. So yeah, one of the mods Necropolis can throw at you is all the packs have a map boss in them, which is why we're seeing, well, a bunch of map bosses. It's not a great thing to see in certain areas, but it's doable. We do seem tanky enough to handle it. That's one down. 25-year-old song. Happens. So we have a bunch of bosses that shouldn't be here, and that's fine. Collect some more morgue items. Keep our golem alive.
My spirit is spent.
I think there's a gardens boss here too. Yeah, Salazang. Likes doing ice damage. I don't think Frostbomb levels in its regeneration stuff by default, so we won't bother. We won't bother with it. The eroding one, I think we encountered this boss in Flooded Mine. When it says map bosses, it means those bosses at the end of every area. Actually pretty nasty modifier if you're not able to handle enemies just easily yet. Even though it's listed as a positive in Necropolis. Because map bosses do give extra loot. A lot of extra loot, really. You just have to be careful about it. Burial Chambers has 3 zones in it. The first is outdoors, the second's indoors, third's outdoors. Well, I guess there's a 4th boss arena area. The indoor area is usually not as crowded as the outdoor one. Burial Chamber is actually a good farming map because it has a chance of dropping a fairly rare card called the Doctor. It also can drop a card called the Fortunate, and those cards can be used to make money in Trade League. The rate of the Doctor is very low, but it is a card that's worth farming even at its low rate. Only downside, and the layout's decent enough, the monsters are packed enough. Generally not a bad layout. I'll take some Valgreaves. Sanctum Guardian. This is a boss for an area called Ivory Temple, if I recall. Kind of a heist variant. Fire and Fury is a little annoying in their own arena. Not an easy boss either with the amount of projectiles they throw. Do decent damage, actually. It helps to know the bosses you're fighting if you have this modifier appear in Necropolis. For instance, this enemy drops Cursed Lightning Ground that makes you take more lightning, reduces your lightning resistances, and if you're not ready for that, you'll wind up kind of wrecked. And hey, look, it's Piety. How fun. Oh, there she is. And she died. Alright, let me make sure Frost Bombs always attack that moving as well. There we go. And we got an Atoll. Restless Shade's probably one of the more dangerous map bosses. A lot of complicated attacks compared to other enemies. It's one of the later added bosses to the game, which is why that's the case. And we'll put a portal outside the Burial Chambers. This is where the arena is. The boss here is a Soul Eater enemy, so you gotta watch out. So you kind of want to single target the Witch of the Cauldron before she regenerates too much. She gets too many Soul Eater stacks and starts regenerating health like no other. You can already see she's kind of getting a lot out of this. A lot of stacks already. But we won. We got a Despot Axe. Boss theme is Pieties, of all things. I think this is called the Rat Cage. Fire damage from hits taking this fizz. Kind of a bad modifier. Actually, a really hard one to build around. But it makes you move faster, so that's neat. You generally want physical damage taken as another element. Because physical damage is hard to get mitigation for as much as elemental res is. Like, reducing physical damage by 75% is actually a huge amount to invest in. You generally need truly impossible levels of armor for that. And we leveled, which is nice. Alright. So I think going Strong Arm is not a bad idea. Either that or Fury Bolts. There's an argument there for that. $12.20. I want to say this nets us more overall. Even though this says melee weapons, we are using a melee weapon, we're just not using it for melee. So I think this still applies. So we can find out right now. So we currently are doing 1600 damage. Now we're doing oh, it says melee physical damage. So this actually is a dead node until we get down here. Okay, so we're refunding this. I'm wasting points, but that's okay. We'll get Fury Bolts. So 16,249, 16,500. Alright. We're looking for move speed on boots, of course. Well, this has projectile speed on it. It's kind of nice. Got a few uniques. An axe with with only one good stat on it, alas. I might keep it though. Some uniques we got there. Queen of the Forest is a sword, which is hard to build or hard to get minion scaling for. Like, you have to get a lot of blue gems, which is hard to get on a sword, but this is a good minion sword of all things. Downside is it's a sword, and minions tend to prefer staves and wands. Ichimonji is a auras affect you mainly. They're good for this is a decent one. It buffs you. It's actually a good sword and could be good for us even, but I'd have to stack auras a little bit more than I am for it to really shine. And I think we got Rat's Cage, which makes us move faster and take damage as Fizz. That's true. Queen's Decree had a prophecy back when that was a mechanic that made Queen's Escape But Prophecy was a mechanic that's not in the game anymore. Generally, you could upgrade uniques to a faded unique version. They got rid of that and generally buffed old uniques, but some got left by the wayside. We'll keep that. And we'll vendor these. Now, let's see. Now this is where I hope we come across the Fields map with Courtyard. Reflect elemental damage. Unfortunately, well, we might put on Brutality. Oh, we do have it already. Nice. So we don't care about elemental damage except for Frostblink, which only does 11 damage, so it should be fine. Possessed unique bosses can be a little scary, but it should be fine. Corrupting Tempest on death. Chill is slightly annoying, but fine. Yeah, this is doable. But our goal eventually is to be upgrading our sword. Maybe go into axes eventually.
This'll do. Nice.
Courtyard is similar to the Imperial Garden biome or tile set. Slightly different. Obviously doesn't have the Imperial Garden Road or the waypoint for it. And there's the fields I was hoping for. So we can finish our tier 4 maps. Leather belt's worth looking at. There's the door. It's either to the courtyard boss or from the courtyard boss. It might be in the arena itself already. We're not sure. Yeah. So one reason to specialize into only one damage type is so you can be immune. You don't have to worry about reflect from the other source. Thankfully, we don't have to. Alright, accuracy rank 3. Put a portal down. And these bosses are possessed, so they will be dealing more damage in some way. And I think possessed bosses are generally faster by default. They will drop more loot though, as per seen right here. And we got another fields map, how nice. Royal Bergenet. You might have to go up here and get obsessed with vengeance. And eventually I want to go up here and grab Test of Loyalty. Trying to get syndicate members to appear more. So one thing I want to do is I want to make sure my swords that I'm trying to find are showing. So let's go to Pewee, my filter blade, which I'm not going to show on stream just yet, but I think this is worth quickly checking. Overview, customize, pardon the pause for a second here. Weapons and armor, raring, swords, one-handed swords. Yeah, okay, that's why they're not showing. two-handed swords. So I did have my swords not showing. That was probably a bad mistake to have. Alright. And then... I'm going to change this filter right now, just get it out of the way. And we'll reload it. You can even delete filters and just reload them. Alright, so it should show swords now proper. Very important. And we're not done with the map by any means, so let's clear this bad boy out.
My spirit is spent.
And there's not much to say about Courtyard. There's a similar map to it called Gardens that's a little bit more dense. Courtyard has a little bit more open roads to it. Gardens is a little bit more congested with walls. Has a slightly more annoying boss too. Because that boss's phases, the phase change. I mean, you can't one-shot it quickly. It does get to the point in this game where you kill monsters fast enough that you just want to have monsters that have less phases, because that means they die faster immediately. Where your damage outperforms their health bar so fast that phases actually make them last longer than their health bar would. Let's not stand in those. I'll pick this up though. My golem's dying too much right now. And we're down to 9 monsters remaining, so we can leave this map. Identify some items.
Rogues
Vendor
market.
anything that doesn't matter.
I hear those will buy you all kinds of mischief in the rogue harbor.
Okay. And now that we have some fields, we'll finish up our tier 4s. This is fine. %40 increased damage. I'm just gonna put that on the low chance of monsters. Two Lunar delete packs. That's just the same enemy type. Very odd. Fields is very similar to the Crossroads in terms of layout. Has a road that'll lead to the boss. Actually, I guess it's closer to Ashen Fields, except without the ash. Or the old fields in Act 2. And there's the burial chambers we did just now. I think this flask might be worth picking up. Since we do have Lunaris enemies, that means we are taking cold damage. Unfortunately, I don't really have much cold damage. Some chill mitigation going on right now.
On to beat us, brute.
Oh, there's a Jund mission. This is an assassination attempt. Intervention where the Syndicate will pop in during a middle of a pack and try to kill us.
Might
Bargain. Bargain's important. Put a portal down next to research, because if I die, that means I can respawn in pretty quickly. Research, you can try to kill the monsters, but it's generally faster just to rush to the end and kill the research member, or else they'll destroy the evidence more quickly than you can really get to them.
In the dirt.
If you cut, thank you.
And an Ezomite blade. That could be better in some regards. Let me just make sure I didn't leave any loot behind. Oh, I did leave a chromatic orb behind. Alright. Ah, here's Expedition. One way to gear up is to use a character named Rog. We have Tujin right now. Expedition's actually pretty good. League start strat. We're going to go with Jun right now, but Expedition might be worth looking into as well. Especially if we get Rog to help us out. But Tujin's good too. Tujin is a good way to get raw items, like currency items like divination or chaos orbs and stuff. Various spicy currency. Alright, let's see what Tujin has to offer. Impale and pack size, that's fine. Immune to chaos, we don't care. Rare armor item and bleeding. We don't care about that. You want to have the big skulls to appear as much as possible. Random hex on hit and regenerate. Regenerate slightly annoying, but random hex is fine. I don't like Exposition as much because you have to read these runic markers and it slows you down. They have a way to fix that now, but it's still like you have to make sure you don't brick your character's setup. And like all the other optional mechanics, Expedition monsters can be harder than normal monsters.
Not on my watch.
Not here, though. We're fine. Alright, why don't we keep moving? Now there's one more Syndicate encounter. It's either going to be Fortification or Transportation. Syndicate encounters are always Intervention, Research, and then either Fortification or Transportation. My guess is Fortification, just from habit of encountering them in fields, but I think it's just 50-50. Up, it's Transportation. You can tell from this little icons on the map that that's a transport cart. You basically have to kill the intervention member before the cart reaches the end. Coral's actually a good Syndicate member to find, because Syndicate members have unique veiled mods they can drop. And Coral getting a helmet mod could actually be really great. There's one modifier Coral gives that's a really good craft to have.
Heat rises.
Betray. We didn't get the helmet craft though.
You know, I'm a man of my word.
Twilight Blade. I think we need Midnight Blades. Alright, let's go back to town to drop off all these veiled items that I should probably just veil on the spot, but I'm stubborn. Alright, let's see. Veil, random unique. Not worth crafting on this Chaos Res ring.
Ah, yes. I know a crate in the basement that will be perfect for these
Vidier's not impressed by our currency here. Excuse the squeaky chair. My posture is poor right now. And we get the boss arena down here. So who could the boss be in a forest encampment looking area? Well, it's Groost. It's Groost again. It's the Ralakesh fight specifically. Get what he's called in this version. Brawl Direwolf, Ruptured Hellion, and Drek, Apex Hunter. He's actually the way to upgrade Soul of Ralakesh, because he's the Ralakesh boss. And there we go. And what we want here... Oh yeah, we're getting more Jun chance. It says 5 monsters remain, so I'm willing to say that we're done with the fields for now. Alright, let's unveil... It's kind of a bad belt. Let's unveil all the items we just picked up. I'll just type in veil, and okay. That's all of them we picked up, and Jun is right here to unveil items for us. Fizz and blind on hits, definitely worth it. However, we don't have other mods that increase Fizz damage, so... Funnily enough, physical damage rolls have flat physical damage is a lower roll value than elemental damage rolls on melee weapons or weapons. And that's because you can get a % Fizz damage roll as well, which you can't get for elemental damage. So the idea is that for a physical damage weapon, you get the flat roll and the increased % roll together. So they're in some ways harder to craft, but the payoff is more if you can pull that craft off. Oh yeah, then there's also hybrid physical and was it accuracy rating, or is it physical and flat physical? I forget. But yeah, basically there's more ways to stack physical damage mods, long story short, compared to elemental modifiers. Elemental modifiers are better if you're going for all 3 elements in some ways. Because you can get fire, lightning, and cold as 3 stats together, but obviously if you're scaling physical, or that's not as important. Yeah, I guess there's a few hybrid cold and chaos. We want this one. And attack penetrates chaos rest. That doesn't matter. And this has 2 suffixes already, so none of these matter. So we'll just pick one. And sell them all, because they're pointless. And finally, we can do a new map. We did all the tier 4s, so time to do Graveyard. Fizz is lightning. I'd rather do a Fizz than something else. Chain is fine. Chain will affect us because we do have minions, the Herald of Purity ones and the Golem, but overall it's not a bad map to come across. Acceleration Shrine, that's fine. This is extra lightning is a little annoying. Pack monster level is kind of neat. Yeah, we'll just do this map as is. I think the Callow Thugs would be better as in the Fizz is extra lightning, but we'll just be spicy and gamble. I don't know how I feel about Graveyard. The boss is kind of mediocre. And the layout is all over the place. All Flame Emperor of Rats. Rats are pretty good because you can replace a pack of monsters with harmless rats, or semi-harmless rats. Not as good as the frog one, but still pretty good. We'll just leave those Torrented Spirits be. They take too long to murder. At our rate, at least. level my 83? Yeah, so we're at the point where like 72 maps aren't going to give us much experience, but that's okay. You want to clear them out nonetheless. It is possible to. We are still getting experience, just the fall off is real. Oh, we got the frogs. That's even better. I don't know why the filter highlighted that differently, but here we are. Frogs are harmless and pretty good for swapping out, so we'll probably do that next time. Oh, this enemy is going to be tough. It has multiple damage modifiers. No, it died. Okay. Those Krakit Chimerals are the dangerous enemies here, because they have Fizz's lightning on them. Run away. And then the Tormented Spirits here. Oh, we got an Eternal Sword. A lot of accuracy on this one. No attack speed though. If we came across physical damage and attack speed or an open stuff or 2 hybrid or 2 physical damage mods, that'd be worth looking into upgrading. But alas. Alright, here's the boss. It has a lot of phases, which is why this map is not run that much. That's at least it has ads. So you have Thunder Skull here, you have one skeleton, he does lightning. Teleports him around a little bit. But we're not done. You notice there's 3 tombstones. Then we have Steel Point the Avenger and Champion of Frost. I think Champion of Frost would have had a name or something, but here we are. And then all 3 appear at the end. You could see this being tedious if you could just one-shot everything. Music's good though, it's the Delve boss music. There's bosses in Delve. And upon clearing it, we're free. Alright, get obsessed with vengeance. There was a rare monster around here, wasn't there? No? Okay. Still a lot of monsters left. That's one reason Graveyard kind of has sparse enemy packs, but it's kind of spread out enough. I don't know. I don't feel like it's a good map layout.
My spirit is spent.
Despite maps having the same premise all over and over. Clear the map, kill the boss. They have different layouts, and that can really add texture to how maps work. Even if they have the same objective overall. A very simple one. And we're done with this map. Alright. Let's identify some spare items. Cold lightning, strength, fizz damage to attacks. That might be worth it. Just craft life on this and we're good. This I'm not convinced, so we'll just vendor the rest. Alright, so what's our fire res right now? 113. So we could swap out the cold here for fire res. Or the lightning for fire with the horde crafting bench. If I ever get around to getting enough horde crafting juice for it. But we're ready to head to another map now. Phantasmagoria. This map is a little tricky. Believe it or not. It is standard reduction, so they're gonna take longer to kill. That's fine. Run this up. And why don't we turn some enemies into, let's see, hive map packs. Let's turn some into rats and some into frogs. Because frogs don't do anything, so they're 50% increased damage, it's just free loot, essentially. And that's fine. Appropriate corrupted portal for the corrupted looking map here. Phantasmagoria is one of the rare nightmare maps, or one of the ones themed off the belly of the beast. And the boss is one of the mini bosses from the Harvest. So it all adds up. There's two more belly of the beast style maps. I don't think two of them aren't in rotation, or one of them isn't. One is Core, and the other is something Malevolence, I think, or something like that. It's not Malevolence, but... Alright, we gotta break down this fortress wall, because Haku's gonna heal otherwise.
You were going to pay for what you did to our family.
And now Haku's not healing anymore.
Ancestors, I will see you again.
After a little bit, the other syndicate member will run away. So you want to kill them fast, theoretically. Oh, Haku, what do you have? Remove Janus? No.
I always expect the worst from you, Giannis.
Janus.
Blood has been, then it is subterfuge.
And next pack we come across, we'll get Assassination mission, likely. Assassination usually pops up basically right after you do another syndicate mission. Or after you haven't done a syndicate mission for a little bit.
I had the upper hand.
Chimeria has a few uniques in the game, like Chimeria's Maul.
You want to know what we've... Don't tell the syndicate.
Actually, I think that's the only unique Chimeria has. Named after him. It's like an ice mace. Ice gavel.
You die rather well.
And we'll collect some of those.
This'll do nicely.
Okay. Oh, an enkindling orb. That improves a flask, but it makes it so you can't. The flask doesn't gain charges when you're using it. It's not really good except for over instilling orbs which automate flasks, except for one particular belt. A very notoriously rare and valuable belt. Called the Mage Blood. That's where enkindling orbs really come into effect. I think this Legion... No, it doesn't have a monster in it. Alright, whatever. I thought it had a Legion General here, but it didn't. Oh, we got Ichor. There's Eldritch, Ichor, and Embers that can drop in the game. That might be our first one. I'll explain that currency in a second. It's considered exotic currency. And we got another heist quest. Fun. Alright, let's do the Syndicate encounter. Oh, wrong way. Run to the end.
Feel bad about what
My
I did.
spirit is spent.
Unfortunately, there's an invulnerability aura enemy here. Murder Guardian. Let's see if we can kill
Beg for your life, Miranda.
Brandis in time. Yep.
Stay down, Hop.
So the strategy for Syndicate, and I find, is to make sure enemies
I choose.
ally and betray each other as much as possible, and then execute them, or bargain with them afterwards.
I really do.
Belgarian currencies, unique strongbox, let's...
That one did not deserve. I must confess.
And destroy
Wise
equipment's
choice
nice.
Indeed.
Because equipment doesn't help you, it helps the Syndicate members get more buffs, and that's not good for you. That's our Syndicate encounters. Nice. And those are Stygian Revenants. They resurrect enemies that you do not want to stand near when they die, because they explode on death. These things. Harmless Frogs really helps us out. Alright. And we got a crafting recipe. You get crafting recipes in maps, and various maps give some. The best crafting recipes come from unique maps, usually metamod recipes. Metamodding being like you can adjust prefixes and suffixes directly rather than just like get a type of craft like traps and mines or physical damage. However, metamodding is very expensive to craft with. So caveat modor, I guess. We'll be beelining. Let's see, which direction's worth beelining to? Probably this way. Debating if I want to pick up the Corsair Sword, I kind of do. Triple Elemental Corsair Sword, not worth it. And I do believe that's all to this map. However, I dropped my last portal down in the research encounter, so maybe I should go fetch it. Alternatively, I could just log out, it wouldn't make a difference, but that's effort. Well, it isn't, it's actually easier, but still. Kind of silly that I forgot to buy portal scrolls.
My spirit
I
is
feel
spent.
silly, like a silly goober. Huh, didn't put a portal. Alright, I'm just logging out. Rather than walking all the way back.
There'll be time for that soon enough.
Alright, let's grab a Few portal scrolls, please. And put all of these up that are not related to our items. Alright, let's unveil items with John.
Blessings.
You can control click to automatically open up this window, but I'm lazy. Alright, what do we have here? Nothing that matters, but it's funny to see. Strength, elemental damage. Again, nothing great here. Effective non-damaging elements could be okay. Or probably not this build, but in theory. And we're ready to vendor items. Lily, like Parandus, can just auto-sell if you control click her. And we have a Matter of Honor, which we'll ignore for now. Because we have a siege to do. Area contains the Sacred Grove, you say? I might do that if it has decent rolls. Yep, looks like it does. Avoid Impale is a little annoying for us, but it's doable. I did not mean to click that portal. Alright, and away we go. Yep, this is fine. I would like more chromatic orbs, though. Siege is kind of a cool area. The boss isn't too bad, but the theme is it's like the, here's our Delirium voice. Delirium's voice is just random what he says after the first two Epilogue missions. But it's still fun to see him nonetheless. Oh, Trail of Fire. Dangerous effect.
Eye sharp. Assassin on the scene.
Save some for me,
Does not
big
deserve to
man.
believe.
One thing about having all the Syndicate members ally each other is that they all appear at once. And so if you're not able to handle them all at once, that can be a little scary. Like that.
Unnecessary loss.
Ah, they ran away.
I hate this job.
Oh well,
Surprised me.
that's fine. And here's the Sacred Grove we were looking for. And Beyond Scarab of Hemophilia. Oh, there's a Lion's Sword. Alright, do we do the Syndicate Lab first? I think we do. More burial chambers, more rogue markers. Alright, here we go. Game,
Did you wish
please.
to join the other corpses, Exile?
Inakura demands many sacrifices this day. Consider it an honor.
Wait, let me think.
Alright, we took out Haku this time as well.
I choose
Rank to Haku or
I am
rank to
really
Yanis? Let's rank Yanis.
that one. Did not. I must
And
confess,
research intelligence.
consider us even.
And see how this had a blue highlight? That's a Haku's Veiled mod. So a unique Haku modifier can appear on it. We'll do the Sacred Grove now, I think.
This way, Exile.
How about the Wild Hellion Alpha? Because this has blue or tier 3 plants in it. Some of the tier 3 monsters are generally a little bit scarier than others. Not this one though. Hellion Alphas are fine. It's the Bristleback, or the Bristleback Matriarchs, I think they're called. Bristle Matrons. Or the dangerous blue one, purple ones. But there's always a chance of getting wrecked by anything, really. And see, there's the Bristle Matrons, and since it's a the other tier 3 plant, we'll pick it up. They have a slowing screech, but they also have a very high damage slam attack. So you gotta watch out for that. They also rush, but that doesn't do too much damage. Where are you? There you are. See, there's the slow. There's the slam. And Burning Groundland Death, which can hurt a lot, so we'll watch out for that. And that's the Harvest. 394 life force, not bad. For early on, at least. Kind of getting desynced a little bit. Was teleporting there softly. When two enemies have proximity shield and are overlapping, they actually share the overlap. Used to not be that way. Used to be you had to be in a Venn diagram with them. It was very annoying. But one proximity shield enemy cannot proximity shield the other, in other words, if I recall correctly. Something like that. Or maybe it's the allies cannot be shared between two allies cannot die enemies. Which is a mod that doesn't pop up much these days.
I can't do this just yet.
This character is way more tanky than I want. Oh, because you're an essence monster. That explains it. What a terribly annoying monster to fight. And let's put a portal down in front of the boss, which will be a Tukohama variant, Tassian Wanderer. I guess the idea is that he's the leader of the siege on this area or something. And he's the same fight as Tukohama, summons force fields that you have to break down. There we go, another skill point. That bone helmet can only drop in maps. It's good for minions. Makes it has increased minion damage on it.
I believe in traveling light.
Ah, a tower map. True. Bone helmets aren't important as much now because of the Eldritch currency, which I've yet to explain, which I will in a second. But I'm gonna drop off loot real quick. Because we did get an Eldritch Ichor to drop, which is nice to see.
Wipe your feet on the way out.
Let's see if any of these are worth keeping. Nope, and nope. And the final Syndicate member, fortification counter. Again, you want to take out the fortress walls first, because there's a healing totem healing the Syndicate member in the middle. Oh, Tora's here. Tora does a lot of chaos damage, so you gotta watch out if you don't have good chaos res. She hits pretty freaking hard. We'll try to take Tora out first. And she kind of does a big area coverage with her attacks. Alright, Tora. Nope. Yes.
You should have given them the red main treatment.
I don't like removing rivalries, because that means less enemies show up, so we'll just release Leo. And we have a lot of stuff leveling up now. Okay. Blood play. It's a leveling dagger. Just has bleeding on hit and extra gore, which is normally an MTX you can buy, but some uniques have it. It's just a visual effect. Doesn't actually do anything outside of, you know, extra gore. And we're mostly done with this map, so we can leave. Sort these properly. Alright, I'm going to type in Veil, and that'll show all the Veiled mods. Or any items that say Veil in the name, but they are not in my inventory currently. And we'll go talk to John, unveil the items. Effective curses is kind of neat. Not really useful for me, but still it's there. Fire and Chaos, absolutely want that. Double damage is nice. Blood play is the unique that we have. Fizz and bleeding on hit. We want that too. And the Corsair sword that doesn't have bonds we care about. Well, let's see. Yeah, if it had a attack or a flat fizz mod, I would absolutely maybe consider crafting on this, but let's just unlock recipes then. Alright, what maps do we have left on tier 5? Cage and Gardens. No chromat. And do we have any tier 4s so we can 3-to-1? Nope. Let's see if Kirak is selling any.
Godslayer?
No. Gardens is right here though. Here's no. What else stands out? So I might just do Gardens here. Get this done. Yeah, let's get this quickly finished.
Hey. During
This one's pretty good. We just find a rare map item. Now the monsters are going to be a little threatening. They have Fizz's lightning on their rolls. That's not, and that's a pretty scary modifier to come across, frankly. I mentioned Gardens before. It has a more congested layout than the Courtyard map, but it's a similar biome. Leafy ground, less pathways, more tight rooms. Oh, we leveled. Lovely. Gardens, and I think Courtyard drops an Emperor's Luck, a divination card that gives 5 currency, which can be 5 armor scraps, or 5 Mirrors of Kalandra, if you are luckier than anybody else has ever been with Emperor's Luck. I don't know anybody who's gotten 5 mirrors from that card yet. Like, literally in the entirety of PoE's history. Maybe one, but never seen it advertised. I feel like if you got a Mirrors of Kalandra from that, it would be worth bragging about. And there's the rare map. And another Emperor's Luck. Again, if we collect 5 of them, we can turn them in for the random currency. Emperor's Luck is actually worth a little bit to other players, just because even though it's a common drop... Oh, there's another Ichor. Even though it's a common drop, it is a gamble, and players love gambling in this game, so they will trade for gambling options. It's not the most gambly of gambles, though, so it doesn't tend to come up as much. And Gardens has a lot of these chimeral enemies. That's one of the enemies native to the map. I think the cobras are actually, or the adders are also native too. And one enemy pack that got replaced is the frogs, the leaping frogs called the croakers, I think. Chimerals or something. Chimeral croakers. They're supposed to be frogs. They kind of look like more demonic, leaping lizard things than frogs to me. A lot of enemies do that in this game, where they are based off of kind of a normal creature, but then get made more sinister looking. I think the only enemies that look similar are spiders and crabs, honestly. Because, of course, everything becomes a crab. It's just science, really. Burns has a lot of dead-end walls that you can leap over, but generally you can get stuck on as dead ends otherwise. But like Plume Chimeras look kind of like peacocks, but like four-legged. Definitely meant to be like monsters of some sort. Well, we got a skill point, and where are we taking this? Could go for herbalism, but I think I want more damage still. And we were going to go for Fury Bolts, so there we go, more damage. More Emperor's Luck, lovely. So even though we've completed the map Kirax mission, we still get map credit if we complete the map, so it's worth doing. So we absolutely will go to the end of this map. And the boss here has an annoying phase change, but we actually saw it already in that area's accompanied by map boss thing. Behold Salazang. Salazang starts off by spewing chaos stuff at us. And then when you kill its health bar all the way, it's not dead yet. It'll actually go into the pool and then become mercurial and become an ice version. And leave these little mercurial orbs chasing us. They're slightly annoying. Let's see. Go up here. That was the gardens complete, so we only have one more tier 5 to do. And since we're down to 25 monsters left on the map, I'm just going to leave. And we'll explain Ickers while we're at it. Any good items here? No, no, no. No. Alright, Victoria's Charity is an aura shield, if I recall. So it gives power charges enemies on... Frenzy charges on hit is actually really good. Area effect of aura skills. Power charge and kill is not as useful because you'd have to be the killer. But being able to grant frenzy charges just by hitting enemies is not bad, so... It's just share charges idea. It's not really that useful though. These days, I don't think there's too many strats built around it, but people still use it on occasion for group play. Now all we have left is Cage. Let's see if we can get a 3-to-1 from Canyon to get a Cage. We did, yay!
I know what to do with these.
2 additional projectiles, increase area of effect, so a lot of coverage on this map, and that's okay. Crit multi. Let's put the crit multi down here and just have a low chance of them appearing. Knight is fine. Best attack monsters is fine. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, Ickers, I was going to explain those. So they're exotic currency and embers. The Eldritch currency is what they're called. What they do is they add implicits to items. Now this Grip Gloves already has an implicit, and that's projectile attack damage. But say this full Dragon Scale does not, so we'll just do this. And now Flesh and Stone is area of effect, which is useless to us, and thing is, you can have one Ichor Essence implicit and one Ember implicit, so we can do this. Plus 6 to all elemental resistance. Hooray! Isn't that great? Generally, it's worth saving those for later on actual pieces of gear, but, you know, it's fun to... But I wanted to demonstrate what they did. And they also give this nice little red and purple look to items. They will override other implicits, though, that aren't Eldritch implicits. or the other Eldritch implicits that you have. So if you can't have two Ember implicits, for instance. They're called Exarch and Eater implicits specifically in games terminology. Eater being blue and Exarch being red, which is foreshadowing for characters we might encounter later. An increased area of effect. Each map, if I recall, kind of does a 180, or it kind of does a loop, kind of like a figure 8 shape area. So like the boss arena is very next to the entrance, but walled off. You can kind of see what we're doing here. Like, it seems like we're close to the boss, but we're not. We have a little bit more to go. Hey, there's another gardens map that we're totally going to use. Ah, Dry Sea. So we're starting to get the yellow tier maps. I think I mentioned this, but maps come in several tier divisions. You have the tier 1s to 5 white maps, they have the white little symbol, and now we're getting the yellow symbol, which will lead to some new quests in the Atlas. The Epilogue's not done giving us story yet. We actually still have a little bit more story to go. It'll take us not all the way through the Epilogue, but pretty darn far in to get all the quests done for the game. Oh right, we have a full Necropolis soon. Aramore's kindly reminding us of that. And finally, the boss is a variant of Casticus from Act 5. He summons crows, that's about it. I honestly don't know what this guy does otherwise. And we are done with that map. That's all the tier 5s. Very nice. I'm glad we got all of them done. We got lucky with that cage purchase. Otherwise, I would probably have to do another Kirak mission. Now, we have one more Ember, I think. Icar. We can put these on the boots, maybe. Rallying Cry buff effect. Useless for us. Freeze duration reduction. That's actually not terrible. Is that all our auras? I think it is. So there we go. We got our tier 5s done. And we'll just vendor these. So that's going to be it for this session of the Epilogue. Next time, we'll enter the tier 6 maps and also finish a Matter of Honor, which is a pesky heist quest in our way. But we do want to do the heists eventually. So, we have a bevy of tier 6 maps to do next time, and these do have to be done rare to count for completion. In fact, if we mouse over them, kill a rare version of this map, as opposed to the magic versions that we had for all the white tier maps. So maps are going to get harder now. Not just in level, but in terms of how many difficulty modifiers we have to throw on them to be viable. So look forward to that. But that'll be it for this Necropolis session. Next time, tier 6s and maybe some new characters. Until then.